Edit. It's okay. At least it's not live.
Yeah,
At least it's not live.
I'm gonna try this again. Welcome everybody. We're here at episode 4 of Transfer Talk. Episode 4 is the FAMU experience. Here today we have the amazing Miss Jasmin Newsome and my other guest, good friend, Mr. Jaiden Reid. Starting off with the questions, before the questions, I should say, both of my guests, they got a chance to experience the FAMU experience as well as FSU. I'll let them tell you a little bit more, but for starters, we'll just start off with a quick introduction. Ladies first, so we'll start off with Miss Jasmin.
Okay. My name is Jasmin. I transferred from FAM. At FAM, I studied fine arts. And then at Florida State, I'm currently a senior majoring in retail entrepreneurship.
I'm Jaiden Reid. I'm a third-year business major at Florida State, focusing on management. At FAMU, I was in SBI. I was also just over there. It's just general business. I transferred last fall. Last fall was my first semester, and right now it's my second semester.
First question. So basically, how we're gonna do this episode, I'll ask a question, and then we'll start off with one of you guys, and then the next, and then we'll alternate. So the first question would be, what was the best part about FAMU? I guess we'll start off with ladies first.
I guess really just like the experience, like meeting new friends and kind of going through that whole freshman experience where you're kind of like forced to be close with the people in class. I came in the summer, so we're kind of forced to be together and just going to events on campus. The events were always live. I would say the events. Yeah, probably the best thing.
Yeah. For me, I would have to say the best part about the experience at FAMU would it genuinely feels like a family whenever you're on campus. Like you kind of know the people around you more because you've either seen them in organizations on campus like BBLB or something like that, mentorship programs, or you saw them in the dorms, or you see them in your classrooms. So it's way more familiar when you see everybody. It's like, it gives you more of a friendly vibe than Florida State, whereas you can go into class and not necessarily know anybody, and you'll walk on campus and maybe see one person that you know, but stuff like that.
Makes sense. My next question for you guys would be, why FSU? What made you decide, all right, I'm gonna leave the school that I'm in now, and go to a different school?
For me, I always wanted to go to Florida State. It was originally my first choice of a school, but when I was applying, I ended up getting deferred the first time, and then when I came up here for a tour of FAMU, I was offered a scholarship and just definitely like fell in love with the campus, and both my parents had gone there, so they were already kind of pushing me towards that direction anyways. And after they offered a scholarship, it was like, there was no way of me getting out of it. I had to go to FAM. But then my scholarship, just because of funding purposes, it kind of started to get more up in the air, and they were able to renew it, but by that time I kind of already decided that I wanted to go to Florida State and just get a separate experience for myself. I had already made connections at FAMU and met people there, and I wanted to have that same opportunity at Florida State to see what I could do with my education there.
For me, I always wanted to go to Florida State as well. My sister went to Florida State, so that kind of like influenced me to want to go there. I did not get accepted the first time I applied. I actually applied like 3 times. I got accepted my 4th time. And the reason why I just wanted to go there, I wanted to study something with like retail or fashion. And when I was looking into Florida State, it was retail, merchandise, and product development. But by the time I transferred over, it was retail entrepreneurship, which I actually liked better because it has that more entrepreneurial side. And something just didn't feel right at FAM. Like I love FAM, but it just felt like I needed to be at Florida State.
I can feel that. Stemming off of like the classroom experience, like how would you describe like FAMU's like classroom experience like compared to like FSU? Like did you like your FAMU classes better or FSU classes?
At FAM, my class size was smaller, and it was kind of more like a family. Like I always had group meets in my class, so like
The group
at Florida State, nobody had group meets. Like nobody's like, oh, let's start a group meet. The first day at FAM, it's already a sign-in sheet creating a group meet. So like that kind of made people interact with each other to get closer inside the classroom and also like help each other out on schoolwork. Florida State, my class size weren't too big, but there were a few really big class size, so that was kind of like new and had to adjust to over 100 people being in one class.
Right.
Yeah, I was saying the mic. like you said, yeah, no, with the group me, that is, it seems like something so small, but it's definitely a big thing, because it's like being able to just speak with all the people in your class, and also on group me be able to like click someone's profile and see, okay, they're in 2 of my other classes, or they've been in this many classes with me. You kind of start to build a relationship with them, like outside of just the student relationship. Like you kind of you start talking in the group me about even more than just the actual classwork. Like you guys, I don't know, it becomes something more than just strictly for the academics. So like she said, it becomes like a family environment in the classroom, to where it's like you could almost notice when someone's not in class. Especially, it is one of the smaller classes. We're at Florida State, like it's kind of like you go into class, professor does attendance however they do it, and everybody focuses on their own laptop, focuses on their self or whatnot. But at FAMU, it's like before class, you would walk in there, and if you walk into a FAMU classroom before the professor walks in, all the students would kind of be talking with each other, going over what was happening in the last class, who wasn't paying attention, stuff like that. But at Florida State, it's more so individualized. Like everybody's there, they worry about themselves, they come in, get their grades, and they get out.
And just to add on that, like I noticed because the class sizes were smaller, the teachers and the professors were like a little bit more involved. Like I know I was going through a rough time, and my teacher actually like emailed me to make sure like I'm okay and try to help me out. But at Florida State, it's like you kind of gotta do that on your own. Like if you want to have that relationship with the professor, you need to go see them. And at FAM, was kind of like they notice and they kind of.
It can happen more naturally.
Yeah.
I can see that. This next question, either one of you guys can answer first. But what's the beef? I feel like there's an unspoken beef, or you can say spoken beef between like FAMU and FSU. Is it? I'm not exactly sure where it stems from. I feel like being an FSU student, sometimes I could sense some hostility from FAMU students, like trying to say that I may feel like that I wish I was at FAM, or like is it something that they do in orientation, or like why do you feel like there's a beef between the two?
You go ahead.
Oh really? All right. Well, in terms of a beef, I wouldn't say it's a beef. More so, just kind of like I would say it's a misunderstanding between the two schools because of the different perspectives. Whereas like at FAMU, when someone from Florida State comes over, and if you don't necessarily understand who they are or kind of like their background, you might think, okay, they might think that they're above HBCU or whatnot. And I feel like that narrative gets pushed a lot because of social media and whatnot, and people claiming how a PWI is better than HBCU, or a lot of things such as like how PWIs get more funding than HBCUs. It kind of pushes a narrative in the back of people's head that's like, okay, PWIs are here and HBCUs are here. So with that being said, a lot of the black students that are a black student at PWI, they might necessarily either have that mentality themselves that, okay, their school is above an HBCU because they have more funding, because they have a better letter grade, better national standing, whatnot. Or even if it doesn't have that if they don't actually feel that way, someone at HBCU might perceive that they feel that way. Or if you inverse it, someone from Florida State might go to FAMU and I've heard, okay, everybody over here is so hostile, whatnot. And I feel like that's just because it's a different environment at HBCU where they communicate differently, whatnot. Where at Florida State, when you're the minority, it's a different environment.
Yeah, I agree. I really didn't understand the beef because I thought they're both kind of like equally up there. They're both universities. It's still getting away from home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are people that think that, oh, because you go to PWI, you might think you're more highly, or I don't know. I didn't understand it. So I don't know what the real beef is.
I don't think there's any beef. I don't think there's any beef.
I definitely agree with the social media. I feel like it's just amped up. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you still going to the same parties, you still hanging out together, still in the
Yeah.
same organizations, like, you still getting education.
Would you guys say that like when you transferred to FSU, or were thinking about transfer, but I guess you could say when you transferred to FSU, did like some of your FAMU friends like look at you different, or were they mad at you for transferring, or were they kind of like, okay, I see you doing your thing at the new school?
Half and half, or not half and half. Like it was split. A lot of my close friends, like the people that know me, they kind of understood that Florida State was the school I wanted to be at. And while I did fall in love with FAMU, I just still saw myself as someone who needed to be at Florida State, or it would benefit me more growing there. And I had already gained an experience at FAMU. But no, there definitely was a few people who just didn't necessarily understand my reasoning for transferring. So they probably thought it's like, oh, he left FAMU to go to the big school with more money and whatnot.
Yeah.
He gave up on FAM. There was some people with that mentality, but I mean, that's them.
Same with me. My closest friends, they were all really happy for me. They knew I wanted to go to Florida State. Like, I was one of those people that was walking around campus with a Florida State hat on, and I do the same at Florida State. Like, I wear my fam stuff there too. But there were a few, like, couple of DMs, like, oh, you transfer? Why'd you transfer? And then I'll respond, and then, like, they never responded back. So it's kind of like, a little sketchy why they asking, but
Yeah.
for the most part, people closest to me, they were really happy for me because they knew that was something I wanted to do. They knew I would probably do better.
Good answers. This is the last FAMU question for right now. What would you guys say was I already asked what was your most favorite part of the FAMU, but what would you say was kind of like your least favorite part of the FAMU?
How unorganized some things were. Like I would hate going into a department because I was told to go here, and this is the people who solve my problem, and they tell me, no, you go to Department B. I go to Department B. Hey, I just got sent here, and they say this is what I'm supposed to be. Oh no, you go to Department C. And basically, you can spend the whole day running around talking to different people, and then you'll end up right in the same spot, and you'll get the problem fixed. It's where it's just like it matters who's in the office at what time, stuff like that. So I feel like that was my main thing, the unorganization. But
yeah, same. Like they definitely give you the runaround. It's definitely like takes days and weeks for something to process. It's just messy, and I feel like the administration is just kind of rude sometimes. Like there's some really nice people that look out for you, and there's other people that look like they hate their job and they don't want to be there.
right.
Which can be frustrating because you're already frustrated with what you have going on, and then dealing with somebody that's frustrated as well. It's just not a good mix. But another downfall, I would say, like my major was fine arts, and it was really small, and I feel like there just wasn't many opportunities within it. And towards like the end, they were just throwing random classes in there. Like it didn't even make sense. Like I was just confused on what was going on. I just feel like the different schools, like I know the journalism school, like something happened where a whole bunch of advisors either got fired or stopped working there, and just the lack of like professional professors is something that sucks. And the advisors, I know a lot of my friends complain about their advisors not helping them, not giving them the right classes, taking classes they don't need to take, and they need to do better with that.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Okay, so how about try to walk me through the transition from like Florida State to FAMU to Florida State. So like walk us through like that first semester, or like that first couple of semesters. So like what was like the main thing that was going on with you? Like where's it? Well, let me re-question that. Yeah, so like
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, the transition basically.
Yeah.
The transition.
I would say like from the first day of orientation, they already had everything handled. Like, I was on a scholarship, they already had my scholarship in the system. Like, they had all my information in the system. I didn't have to do anything, go to different places to get things situated. Like, it was already handled. So that was like a relief, knowing that I could come into school and not have to worry about anything. And then as far as classes, it was tough my first semester because I had 8 a.m.s. Yeah, I've always had 8 a.m. since I came to Florida State. I just got used to it.
Never.
But I had 8 a.m.s. It was in the spring. It was so cold in the morning. And my classes were, it was like the foundation of my major. So it's a lot of content. Like, it's like learning a whole new language in the beginning. So we had exams like every 2 weeks. Like, I was always studying. I was stressed out. So I'm like, dang, this is so much more than what I'm used to. Because at FAM, I wouldn't say it's necessarily harder. It's just more of a workload. Like, it's a lot more work that I had to do. So that was stressful, but I got through it. And then the following semester, I started like getting more involved in organizations and started meeting new people. I wasn't really involved my first semester. I was kind of like quiet off to myself. My classes were a little bit bigger, so I didn't really like go talk to anybody. But I started like doing some stuff within class, volunteering, and getting to know a few people. And yeah, I mean,
things just got better.
Yeah, it just got better, and my classes started to like get smaller because I was going up, so they're getting smaller, and I was able to speak with my teachers and my advisors and kind of really get into my major, which I'm happy about. So I'm really interested in my major, so it's not like it sucks.
What was the question?
Your transition to FSU. Like, I know you're only 2 semesters in.
How was it? Oh yeah. The transition. I would say honestly, it wasn't too rough of a transition. I feel like regardless where you take classes at, if you're a student and it's like you kind of are a good student, you'll get good grades at regardless of whatever school is. So like my GPA didn't necessarily take too much of a tank. Nah, I'm actually capping it. It did take quite a tank, but that was just because of like personal stuff going on. But yeah, to me the main thing was the campus. Like I had to get used to the campus and all the new resources. I'm still not even necessarily used to all the resources like the ACE Learning Studio, the tutoring that goes on in Strogan and stuff like that. That's something that I came to Florida State too. That was a reason, like coming over, I knew that there was a lot more resources at Florida State, and I haven't even necessarily got a chance to take advantage of all those resources yet.
Yeah, I also feel like, dang, what was I just about to say? Oh, like my professors, they kind of like made us take advantage of our resources. Like it was assignments to go to the career center to get your resume reviewed. It was assignment to go to the career fair. Like that is something I really appreciated, because if I was at FAM, I probably wouldn't have went. Like I knew about it, but nobody's really pushing me to go. I was probably like, a little scared, didn't really want to go. But at Florida State, like it literally makes you step out of your comfort zone to go make those connections, to go talk to those people, to go get better at what you have. And that's something like I really appreciated from the transitions coming over.
I know you might have answered this a little bit in your last answer, but like the next question is like, what would you say like your biggest challenge was at FSU throughout your time?
My biggest challenge at FSU. My biggest challenge at FSU, like she said, would have to be adjusting to the way that you interact with your professors. Whereas at FAMU, since it's smaller classes and since a lot of professors look like you, it's a different interaction with them. It's kind of more so sometimes informal. Whereas like I've seen my professor at the movie theater one time, and it's just like I have a normal conversation with him, and then in class we can relate about more things. Whereas at Florida State, if you're not going to their office hours, or even if you go to their office hours, you might be meeting a teacher's assistant. Like at FAMU, they don't necessarily even have teacher assistants like that. And if you go to someone's office hours, you can guarantee you're probably going to see them. Whereas at Florida State, it's like it's a lot more students, so you can't necessarily build that same relationship with your professors, or it's a lot harder to. So that's been my biggest struggle, I'd say.
One of my struggles, I would say, is actually joining organizations, because it's so big and it's so many. It's kind of hard to like figure out what you want to do. And I know when I was at FAM, like I had a lot more friends. So it was easier for like us to all go into something together. Whereas Florida State, I didn't really have that many friends. So it's like if I want to join something, I'm kind of on my own. You know, I got to step into it and be a big girl and go apply myself to it. Another challenge, I guess, was just like the workload for me. Like it was definitely a big transition. I went to having like 2 exams a semester to having exams every other week, and just having projects every week, and having 10-page papers 2 or 3 times out the semester. So it was a bit of a change. It was a bit challenging, but overcame it.
Right. I could definitely hear what she was saying. I personally didn't have a problem with meeting a lot of people at Florida State, but I feel like that could have been my biggest issue with the transition, because like she said, at Florida State there's so much going on that it's hard to necessarily get into something, because you see a million clubs, a million organizations, different Greek councils and whatnot. So it's like you don't necessarily what you should get into. Whereas at FAMU, it's kind of more streamlined to where it's like, okay, a lot of people do this. A lot of people will join a mentorship program, BBLB or PBM Sisters or BSLS. Where it's like, okay, then you can take that, and okay, a lot of people will join a professional organization like AK Psi or whatnot. Whereas at Florida State, where there's so many different leadership organizations, so many different clubs, so many different Greek outlets and whatnot, it gives you a lot more to look at, but also it makes a decision way harder.
So that, because it's more options. So I definitely feel that. This next question would be, what do you feel like helped you out the most, like during your time? That could be like a research source, a person, like an organization. What would you say like made your FSU experience a little bit easy?
I would say like my support system, like my really close friends and my sisters as well, because she went to Florida State. It just kind of kept pushing me. Luckily, like at FAM, since things were kind of like unorganized, I had a few people like make sure that I'm on top of my stuff. Like I went online, I found my curriculum, I make sure I'm taking the right classes. So when I came to Florida State, like I kind of was already doing that because of when I went to FAM. So wait, what was the question? Sorry.
What helped you out the most?
Oh yeah, like I would say my support system, and then talking to like my advisor, like she's really cool, and she really like got to know me and like my likes and dislikes. So she kind of helped me, you know, find different things within the school that I could join or that I could look for. And a couple of my professors, like they looked out. I told her like I was trying to get a scholarship, but I wasn't receiving anything. And surprisingly, she was on the scholarship board. So that next semester, I literally got a scholarship.
There you go.
So that was pretty lit.
I need that. I need a scholarship. If anyone's watching this, I need a scholarship. But for me, what has helped me the most, I would have to say, my first semester at Florida State, I was fortunate enough to join a Greek organization. Shout out to the Good Brothers. I'm a member of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So joining that organization at Florida State definitely made the transition much easier because I was connected with people who had been there for all of their university career. So anytime I had a question as simple as like, where is this on campus? I could easily hit up a group chat and be directed as to where that was at. But also like on a deeper level, just it kind of made me feel more a part of Florida State because I was connected with Black FSU. Like there would have been necessarily no way for me to get as connected with Black FSU because a lot of people come in through the CARE program and whatnot. So it's like that group of people at Florida State, they know each other from freshman year, sophomore year, and it's kind of like you all get to grow together. Whereas as a transfer student, if you're not in CARE or anything like that, if you're not involved in the Black Student Union, then you don't really have a place in that world until you go out and make it. So my fraternity really gave me an opportunity to like step into Black FSU and make connections.
Like you said.
Shout out to BFF.
Well, I know he just kind of talked about like his experience with like Black FSU, but like transferring from FAM to FSU, would you say it was hard for you to like kind of fit in with or like meet the culture at FSU?
Yeah, I would say like I kind of went to being like one of the lightest people in the room to being like towards the darkest people in the room. And then also in my major, like there's not many men, it's mostly females. And a lot of the females of other color are just kind of already like clipped together.
Yeah.
But like I would say like my first semester I did go to the Black Student Union table and I was like, oh, you know, I'm trying to join, and they were like, well, you're already in it. And I was just like, okay, like I don't know, what does that mean? But they're just like, oh, here's the flyer, whatever. I didn't really get too much involved in it because I was doing other things. But I would say if we get back to school, hopefully I can become more involved within Black FSU because I don't really have that much experience within Black FSU. I'm in like a few clubs, but they're not, it's just like towards my major.
Well, those are all the main questions that I had for you guys. Did you guys have anything that y'all wanted to speak about or talk?
Yeah, I would want to ask you what was your transition like from Florida State, because I feel like it's different transferring from another university to another university, but how was it transferring from TCC to Florida State? What were some of the differences that you saw?
Good question. I mean, I feel like everybody's experience is different. Like, I feel like my experience was a little bit, I would say, easier. Like, I didn't expect to go through like transfer shock because I felt like I did a good job as far as like networking, and I ended up like before I got to FSU finding out about transfer student services and hooking up with them, getting a job with them. So now it's like, okay, I'm going into this new school, not completely blind. I have a few people telling me a few things, plus I knew people at FSU before. So then I get to FSU, now I'm part of Transfer Student Services, so not only do I know a little bit about the resources, but I'm also one of the ones that's helping other transfer students as well. And then I got to FSU and I found out how transfer students didn't really have anything at all. So then that's when Transfer Student Union came about. And from ever since my first semester, just been working towards building that and like creating a better and easier experience for other transfers, because I saw that there was a common struggle and issue that went along with transfer students. So I knew that it took someone to step up to try to like fix those things. So ever since I've been here, I've just been step by step just providing a little bit more advocacy for transfer students, just to make other transfers' lives easier, and then also just to leave like my impact or my legacy at the school.
Definitely feel that.
What made you want to come to Florida State?
Well, I knew that I wanted to come to Florida State since high school. Cause like my high school, I went to Robert E. Lee High School in Jacksonville. But in my high school, they used to always stress go to college, go to college, go to college. So like around like my junior years when I started like looking into college, and I found out about FSU. So like I started doing everything like joining all these honor societies, this and that, so I could like get into school. That didn't mean nothing because I didn't have test scores, but I knew that I still wanted to go to FSU. So I just the only other alternative was to go to community college. So I did that route, and still got another rejection letter, but then switched my major and I finally did it.
Now we here. Now we here.
How do you guys feel being like a Black male at Florida State?
That's a good question. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's more pressure, and if I'm being honest, that's kind of one of the reasons I transferred too. I felt like at FAMU, the environment of being around all people that look like me, it was very warm and it was like a family environment, but it to me, it didn't even seem like how the corporate world would be, especially as a business major, like going with my goal being to go out and right after graduation get a job with a top company. I know that my workplace is not going to look like FAMU, so I already kind of wanted myself to get adjusted to being around a lot of white men and women and just working with them again. That's what I did all through high school. I went to a predominantly white high school, so that was part of my reason for transferring as well. But like I said, it's a lot more pressure because you stand out. You stand out way more in the classroom just because of your physical appearance. Whereas at FAMU is like, for you to stand out, you would have to be doing something exceptionally well or exceptionally bad. At Florida State, you stand out just because of who you are. So then it's like now that you have this extra attention, are you gonna be known for something well or something negative? So it's like, it kind of puts you in more of a dire predicament maybe.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with what Mr. Reid said about it being like an uncomfortable experience. Like for me, like I went to predominantly black schools for the last 7 years of my life, like middle school and high school. So I wasn't trying to go to no black college. Like I was like, okay, I'm trying to switch it up one. And then also, like me personally, I didn't necessarily plan on going to school like for a job, because like I'm more so like entrepreneur side. But I would say that I came to school more so like for connections. It's not what you know, it's who you know. But I knew that going to a predominantly white school, like I know that the connections that I would be able to meet would be just beyond like the regular. Like not to say that you can't like meet good connections at FAMU, but I know that coming to FSU and just being a black male, that just has a positive mindset and that like just plans to like have a future and do something with their life. I feel like just being there, just being at FSU, because like I would say that it's definitely hard to get to FSU as a black male, but I feel like I can honestly say that once you get in there, like you have all the opportunity and resources to like get to wherever you want to be. Like
Definitely.
you could come to the school and choose to like just ride the wave and have fun, but like if you wanted to like really set yourself up for the future, you could easily do that. It's just a matter of like just taking action, I would say.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel that.
Those were definitely some good questions. We like to finish off our episodes of Transfer Talk with a transfer tip. So
Transfer tip?
So if you guys could give a tip, that would help transfers out here.
My tip would be, don't give up. Like if you really feel like you're supposed to be at a certain school, don't give up. Because I got into Florida State on my 4th try, and believe me, after the second getting denied, I was like, you know what, maybe it's just not for me. Like maybe that's not my life path. You know, I'm just supposed to be where I'm at. But I kept pushing. I really wanted it, and I got it. So if you want it, if you want to go there, don't let anybody take that from you. Like just keep pushing, keep working, know what you got to do it, and you're gonna get there.
You're not gonna give them? I got it. Yeah. I say my transfer tip is get involved. Get involved, especially if you're transferring to a school that's bigger than your previous institution. You could get lost in just a sea of people, but if you like find your place on campus, that'll make it a lot easier to get connected with people, and it'll just make the transition a lot easier because you can lean on people. At a big school like Florida State, if you feel like you're alone there, it could be a lot more overwhelming because you don't feel like you can connect with anybody or get help. You don't want to necessarily speak to just advisors or just professors, but if you get involved in whether it be a club, fraternity, sorority, student organization, just in general, it'll make it a lot warmer.
Spoke good tips. That's all the time we have here, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 4, Transfer Talk.
We out.